What's up, my fellow scruffy looking nerf herders, and welcome to the Carbonite Chat. Today we're going to be talking about two big pieces of news, or semi-big. One being the new animated series that will be coming out this fall on Disney called Star Wars Resistance. I discussed that a while back, that the possibility that they had gotten the rights to that name. And the other one that I'll be discussing is this talk that everyone's been posting about. I've seen so many articles for the last few days, and I haven't covered it, but I will cover it, about the fact that there's going to be multiple Solo movies. That Solo Han has been, or Alden Ehrenreich has been picked up for 3 different movies in this discussion, that we're going to have a whole lot more Solo. First, I'll cover the new animated. It's the most recent, and it's talking about the Star Wars Resistance, and it's going to happen prior to Force Awakens. It's going to kind of be like a little prequel, kind of like Rebels was for New Hope. What it does not say, though, is that it does not say that Sabine, Ahsoka, Thrawn, or Ezra will be in it. Now, they could come in a later seasons, but right now the only characters that we got is a character that's supposed to be the lead of the show named Kazuto. I don't know how to say the last name, but Kazuto is a fighter pilot in the Resistance, has been tasked to kind of go on a secret mission to get information about the First Order. Now again, this will be before Force Awakens, and it will be run by Dave Filoni. The interesting other little note that they said, that Dave Filoni said, it's going to be a more anime style as opposed to the style that we've had before. Don't know exactly what he means by that, but that's basically the only line we got from him at this point. It's also said that Poe Dameron will be voicing a character in it. Obviously, Oscar Isaacs will be voicing Poe Dameron, and we'll have Gwendoline Christie coming back to work with Phasma. Now, to me, it's, you know, what excitement do I have for seeing characters prior to Force Awakens after the lack of excitement I have after seeing The Last Jedi? To me, if you wanted to try to build up excitement for Episode 9, which is the only thing that I can think of that's the real reason behind this, because what you're doing here is you're trying to build out everything with probably 1.5 seasons is what we'll get. It starts this fall, and so we'll have a half season at the end of the year, and then they'll finish the season at the beginning of spring next year, a year from now, and then we'll have the next fall to open up season 2 before Episode 9 comes out. Why would you not, instead, in my opinion, if you're trying to build intrigue for Episode 9, for some of those that have not been a fan of Episode 8 and don't care about it, why not build out and show what's going to be going on and happening between Episode 8 and Episode 9? Show how the Resistance begins to build themselves back up. Start building in these new characters that you can bring in, or building up the characters that we already have to make them more intriguing to people. Some people that haven't liked what you've done with the movies but have been okay or liked with what you've done with the Rebels. Maybe you could have built some intrigue into that. But doing everything just before Force Awakens, and you're doing it with characters that, okay, so what? If you're going to go beforehand, why not show the Jedi Academy? Why not show what you're doing, what happened with Luke and Kylo there? Begin to build that up. Show Luke, Kylo, Han, Leia. Begin to explain that out, because at least that then you could, for people that would be willing to accept what went on with Luke and how you kind of created him as a character, at least you would give an explanation. You could show and tell that story of how he got to be at the point where he was. But it's going to be about this random new pilot in the Resistance that I'm sure Dave Filoni will connect somehow, but who is that? Because we've got these names of these different pilots that we've seen in Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. So who is this person? Is this going to be a reveal of somebody? It's not going to be like a reveal that, okay, this character is going to turn into Phasma, because we already know where Phasma came from because of the Phasma novel. So what other character is there going to be that's going to be working undercover that then can be an interesting reveal for, oh my God, this character we've seen this whole time? I mean, maybe they could come up with something like that. Maybe that's not even what they want to do. Anyways, those just kind of the news that we've got. It just came out, and so I wanted to present that for those of you that don't pay attention into the news. And I had specifically one or two people that mentioned anything that came out about animation, asking me to, keep them informed. So there is that. The other one is the Solo news. It's just, that's the contracts. That's what everyone does with these big budget films now, because any big budget film could end up blowing up, and then they want to renew it. And instead of having, it's the company, the production company, Disney or Lucasfilm in this case, trying to take over kind of control of the money situation. Because if it does really well and you pay an actor that's not as big a name, a smaller fee, and then it gets big and they know you need them back, they can ask for more and more money. So you just write them into a 3-movie contract. So that way that if there is something that happens, then you have them and they have to come back for another film. That's what this is. That's all this is. There's nothing more to it. It's not, they may have kind of wanted to a little bit to do another film, but we've also got this other character, Enfys Nest, that is into a multi-deal contract. I'm sure if you ended up having a conversation with Donald Glover or Emilia Clarke, that they're also going to be in a multi-film contract. That does not mean that there's multiple scripts hidden off by Lucasfilm right now to develop into further and further ideas. It's just, that's what they do. I mean, if this movie just blows up and does better than everyone's thinking, and I mean way better, because even like those that are, the predictions right now are like right around $1 million. That's not going to get extra films being made. It's just not. But, if it somehow blew up to 1.5 million or something, which I do not, or 1.5 billion, then, they have that potential for it to come out. Or if a character like Lando is absolutely loved and they want to bring in Han back in for a little cameo, they can. But this is not the first movie of a trilogy. This was developed by Kasdan. Lawrence Kasdan was developing a Han Solo script before Lucas even sold the rights to Disney. But that he was working on this. He wasn't working on a trilogy. So this is just people trying to clickbait articles and clickbait titles, and which is fine. Do that. Get your views. But the fact that it's just never-ending discussion. And one other thing I had asked about, I wasn't going to talk about it because, again, I don't talk about the news stuff as much as some other people that every day they're talking about the news. But is this rumors of Mara Jade coming to episode 9? If you haven't heard about this, J.J. Abrams and his casting director have been searching for a female character, and the title name of the character is Mara. And so this has caused all this speculation that Mara Jade is going to be in episode 9. Well, if it is, that's stupid, because you already wasted it. You already wasted it. I did a video a while back about how there was, rumors that ended up being that Luke was having a dream in the prologue of the Last Jedi novel that talked about him having a wife. And I was saying, well, this could have been a way to explain it. And this, again, could have been all a part of the prior, this Star Wars Resistance. If you did the animated series and you talked about the Jedi Academy, then you could show that Luke had a wife during this time, and you could show Mara Jade being a part of it. And you could show that, that was losing her because of the Kylo situation and the Jedi and all that stuff with the school being burnt down, that he lost her, that led him to just kind of give up on everything. That at least that would be an attempt of explaining it, and you could throw Mara Jade in there as well. But to put her in episode 9, Luke's a Force ghost now. What are you going to do? Are you just going to then completely screw up another character from Legends and do it completely opposite of what we've wanted? Like the thing with Mara Jade is the connection that ends up getting built with Luke. Like that relationship, that has to be there. If you're just going to put off another character, well, we've got an Asajj Ventress. Like, just make it a whole nother character. Don't make it Mara Jade. But I think this is just a name that's put there to kind of get people talking, which is why I didn't want to talk about it, because it's just like, oh, we're building up this speculation for this movie that I don't really care that much about because of what they did with episode 8, and It's just a name. Like if you looked at the names during casting for Force Awakens, they were all completely different. Rey was Kira. You know, you had actually a flip-flop between who Poe and Finn was. And so it's just a name they put in there. Just like we didn't actually expect episode 8 was going to be called Space Bear. It's just a name they threw down on a sheet. And maybe it's because JJ wants to do something with a character that's going to be similar to Mara Jade. Maybe there's discussion that Snoke's got a secret, character that's going to be coming out, that Kylo wasn't the only apprentice, and now that he's killed Snoke, that this character is going to come in, which, okay, fine. And if you kind of design it after Mara, fine. Do not make that character Mara Jade, though. Because you're just going to be screwing up another Legends character, which none of us want. If you can't do it right, if you can't bring on the author that actually worked and created this character to then kind of oversee the character and make sure the character is done the way it is desired for the author who created the character to remake the character, much like how you had, at least for the novels, Timothy Zahn coming back to do Thrawn, which I enjoyed that novel, and he's got a second one coming out, and I look forward to that novel by Zahn. Unless that's the case, keep your hands off of it, because you're only going to anger the fans more. The other fans that like the movie so far, I would say a good majority of those don't care as much about the Legends material. So you don't need to repeat and bring back in some Legends person. Make it similar if you want. Make it somewhat, along the lines, but do not make it Mara Jade. Anyways, those are my thoughts and opinions on those 3 pieces of news that have come out recently, mainly the animation and the Han Solo trilogy we got coming up, and as well as, of course, the Mara Jade thing, because that's been specifically asked of me to comment on. So those are my comments on those so far. I look forward to hearing your thoughts and opinions about them down below. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and never forget, you nerf herders, I love you.